Hello, hello, beautiful Earth Angels. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to Earth Angels Unite podcast 134, Breaking the Trauma Cycle. So trauma leaves an imprint in your body, your nervous system, and your energy field, but never on your soul. As a sensitive, intuitive Earth Angel and cycle breaker, you may have lived through experiences that felt too intense or painful to process at the time, right? In the moment. So those unhealed imprints can keep looping as anxiety, hypervigilance, distrust, pain, making it hard to feel safe and supported or truly free. In this episode, you'll learn how to break that trauma cycle by transforming your pain into trust through the loving support of the relax, and that should be trauma into trust, right? Through the relax, release, receive process. And so, hi, Lauren, welcome. I want to welcome everyone who will be joining us live, everyone that's connecting with the replay. My intention with these podcasts is to create a space of transformation, that you come one person and you leave another person, that you leave transformed, whether you're here live, whether you're connecting with the replay. And how we do that is we bring the pain, the trauma, the wound to the light for healing, right? So we're naming it to tame it. We're shining the light of our hearts, the light of our soul, the light of the divine onto the wound. And today we're talking about trauma and breaking the trauma cycle as we lead up to the Angelic Cycle Breaker series. And we do this through the relax, release, receive process. Excuse me. Angels were saying something. And so my name is Jill Kemper, angel coach and author of my debut book, Receiving from Your Angels, 4 Practices to Heal Your Pain with Angel Love. And I'm here sharing a teaching from my book, a angel activation, an oracle card, really to help you. This is for you to step onto your highest timeline, to receive and trust your intuition, to relax and cherish your body, to release that pain, right? So when part of the releasing process is seeing it clearly and getting the gems, which is what I'm going to talk about today, some of the gems from my trauma. And so happy trusting Tuesday. I can't believe we're mid-October already, but here we are. And there was something else I wanted to say. So I want to welcome a circle of empowerment, unconditional love, joy, and miracles to surround everyone that this transmission will connect with. Again, whether you're here live, whether you're connecting with the replay. And I know many of you take the time to watch the replay, and I thank you so much for that. And understand that, you can listen to this replay while you're driving, while you're doing dishes, while you're taking a walk, walking the dog, all the things, right? So finding the time to connect with your heart, with your soul, with your angels is part of our divine mission as Earth Angels, as cycle breakers, to raise the vibration of the planet. So thank you, angels. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Benicia. Welcome. Say hi if you're here. Just listening to the angels for a minute to see what they were saying. So this month in October, the download that I got for my podcast was to be talking about the 4 top cycles that us Earth Angels, empaths, and cycle breakers are here to transform, here to alchemize, here to heal. And so last week we talked about pain. This week we're talking about trauma. And of course, there's layers of trauma, right? Next week, lack, and then finally codependency. Are those all the cycles we're here to break? No, I'm sure there's more. But those are the top 4 that the angel said, bring those to the light. So again, understanding that trauma leaves that imprint in your body, in your nervous system, and in your energy field, right? Until you clear it, until you consciously release it and then consciously receive the gem of it. And that's what this is all about. It's like, let me get the gems of the journey, right? And we can do that gently, lovingly. So every earth angel carries stories of deep pain. And what we do with these stories, these experiences, determines whether we stay stuck in survival or rise into freedom, liberation, sovereignty, even, if you will. So as earth angels, as empaths, as cycle breakers, right, we're highly sensitive and highly intuitive. We know we've been here before. We are both bold and humble. And we are learning, this is the bridge thought, right? We're learning how to take care of our sensitivities, to tend to our sensitivities. And we're here with all of that. We're here to end some of the most painful cycles that humanity carries, some of the most painful patterns that humanity carries. Pain, trauma, lack, and codependency. So I do truly believe, and I mean this, I say this with compassion for myself and for all of you who are breaking the cycles, that I've experienced each of these cycles myself as the commitment to be the trailblazer, the commitment to be the there was a word that was in my brain. I didn't say it first and then it popped out. That's okay. You know, to be the light warrior that said, to experience it first, thank you. And often. And then that commitment to anchoring in a way to heal it, so that we are walking that path together. Hope that makes sense. So I've experienced each of these cycles myself, not as abstract concepts, but as living experiences that shaped me, right? That shaped my heart, that shaped my body, that shaped my purpose. Hi, Benicia. Welcome. Good morning. So I created the relax, release, receive process because I needed it first, right? It was forged through my own commitment, devotion to breaking these cycles. So I needed a way to meet my trauma with compassion instead of fear, to understand my pain as a teacher, right? As a portal instead of a punishment, and to shift from lack to trust, to shift from trauma to trust, and to love without losing myself, abandoning myself. So the relax, release, receive process really wasn't born in a classroom, although I did commit to teaching about it. It was born in the fire, right, of my own Holy Spirit, the fire of my own experiences. And it's angelic medicine that came through my own healing journey with the angels. So, and that's why it works. Because it's not about perfection or pretending to have it all together, right? It's about walking the talk, healing in real time, and allowing the angels to guide the alchemy. So, whatever pain, whatever fear, whatever trauma you've experienced, the angels know how to heal it. The angels know how to alchemize it. And when you take the time to relax, release, receive, you will experience that yourself. You will experience the relief. Let me know if that resonates. Also, if you want to put a trauma, a specific trauma that you are healing from, and do it with self-compassion, with self-love, but know when you name it, you tame it. Thank you. So, as cycle breakers, we're not meant to stand on pedestals. We're here to stand in our truth. Vulnerable, honest, willing to bring love to the very places that once held pain. Right? Whether that's a past experience, a current thing that you're going through now, an inner child. That was one of my cards today, inner child healing. And it's interesting that I got that card today because a lot of the trauma that I'm talking about was from my childhood. So I'm going to share a few of the trauma cycles that I've been through and the gems. The goal is for you to see. The goal is for you to receive the gems of your trauma. That's my heartfelt goal. That if you could move from feeling traumatized or post-traumatic traumatized, right? Post-traumatic stress disorder, if you could release that stress and that trauma and step into the new version of you without the heaviness, without the baggage, without the weight, that's my goal. So over the years, I've walked through many layers of trauma, each one carrying its own initiation, its own lesson, its own gem of wisdom. And I believe one of the things I've been telling people is if you're still cringing, you're still integrating. And what do I mean by that? I think I'm going to do a whole episode on that. So angels remind me, if you're still cringing when you look back at an event, at a circumstance, at an experience, if you're still cringing in some way, and what do I mean by cringing? Like cringing, tightening your body and wishing it didn't happen, right? Or wishing that you did it differently, or all the things. I mean, gosh, I could be tearful about that. Right? If we're still cringing, we're still integrating, meaning we're still getting the gems. So I'm here to be like, why are you waiting to get the gems for something that happened 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago? Let's heal it in the now. Okay. Awesome downloads. Lauren, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for naming that, right? Yeah, your lack of confidence and then defensiveness, right? When we feel like, oh, I made a mistake or I'm not good enough, right? I didn't do it right. Or I could have done it better. We hate that feeling, right? Of maybe feeling rejected. So then, boom, there's that defensive part. I've talked a lot about my defensive part being a massive protector for me after my dad died. So the goal is to, right now you brought this to the surface. Let's shine the light of your angels, right? Angel Reiki, IET, all the tools. So thank you for naming that and the courage to do that. I know it takes so much courage. And there's it's scary, because it's so vulnerable, but then it's liberating, right? Think about that angel card, vulnerability and freedom from the guardian angel deck is what I saw. There's massive freedom, liberation, and sovereignty in our ability to be vulnerable, right? To name it, to tame it. So I hope that helps. So my early years were filled with chaos. There was abuse, there was neglect, there was poverty. At one point, we were homeless. It was only for a brief period of time, but it was interesting because when I reflect back And I remember what grade I was in. I was in second grade when there was a lot of, I went to 3 second grades. Um, and, you know, and then the unimaginable grief of my father's death, my father's tragic death, his murder. Of course, that loss shattered my sense of safety and trust in the world. And I didn't have the tools to process it. So what did I do? I armored up, right? Welcome defensive part. Welcome angry part, right? Because feeling sad wasn't safe. Feeling scared wasn't safe. So I had to be tough. And I was for a long time. um, I became hyper vigilant. I became judgmental, believing that staying alert was the only way to stay safe. I didn't know now what I know now at 46 years old that the angels had my back, right? I had to learn that. So through the years of angelic healing, right, that I was led to, thank you, thank you, thank you, I learned to soften the armor, soften my heart, right? One of my cards today is Jeremiah. I love this. Learn from your challenges. I mean, this is literally what this is about. Relax and trust. I mean, can you make this stuff up? I mean, it's like, and I love the eggplant purple light. Literally relax and trust. This is exactly what we're talking about today, right? Ah, love the angels. So some of the gems, right? Poverty taught me deep gratitude. I remember as a child when I would receive a gift, and just over the years, how I would always remember who gave me the gift. Like, where I got it from, you know, and what a gem, right? From poverty. We're going to be talking about lack and lack consciousness, both poverty and emotional lack next week, right? To cherish every blessing, every meal, every small miracle that entered my life, every gift. I remembered every gift I ever received and who it was from. The abuse taught me to not take others for granted and to heal the deep wound of unworthiness. Abuse taught me to remember that I'm whole, healed, pure, innocent, no matter what anyone else does or says. Like, holy cow. When I sat with that, I was like, wow, thank you for giving me the gem. And is there more healing to do? Of course, right? It's a lifetime of healing. But can I look back with compassion for the events that happened? Yes, right? It's like right when you're cringing, tightening, tensing, contracting, you're still integrating. And you're still holding on to that imprint, which could be bringing more of that to you. So we want to clear that. Yeah. My father's death, as tragic as it was on so many levels, opened me to the spirit world, right? It taught me that connection never dies, the soul doesn't die, love doesn't die, and that joy can coexist with sorrow. Excuse me. Okay. All right, tears. So the gems of the childhood trauma are gratitude, innocence, and resilience, right? And also connection. You know, it was interesting how some parts of our lives kind of elevated after my dad passed away. And I remember feeling, I didn't plan on saying this today, but I'm remembering it. I remember feeling tremendous guilt as a young child, you know, that we lived in a nicer apartment with no cockroaches. We lived in that apartment for longer instead of moving year to year. We were there for 5 years. We got like cable and a VCR and things we never had, And I remember just having this tremendous guilt that took a long time to heal. Actually, until I found IET, I walked around with like this cloud of guilt around me. So my capacity to find joy, even in the aftermath of grief, and to cherish this sacred, fleeting human life, right? Like, that's part of what my dad's death taught me. Life is precious. Life is precious, right? And to be like, I actually think it taught me presence and the ability to cultivate present moment awareness, because the now is where the healing happens, right? What does my teacher always say? Healing happens today, not tomorrow, right? And what do I always say? This is right. Why is the present moment so important? Because this is where your angels are right here, right now, sending you love. So when we're past tripping, when we're future tripping and past ruminating, we're not in the now. All right. So the second trauma cycle was my parenting trauma. This is something that I'm not going to precursor this with a lot, but I'm going to say I haven't really talked about this in real time. One part of this. So this will be coming out, living on the edge of my vulnerability. And, some of this is, I don't want to say it's all new, but some of it is still new. So I'm still alchemizing it, right? But I know that when I share my story, I'm in my genius zone. That's what I told myself this morning. Every time I share my story, I'm in my genius zone because my story is my medicine. And I share what I share to inspire you to know that the relax, release, receive process works to heal whatever trauma or experience you've went through. So after my first child was born, everything that I had suppressed from my childhood for years came rushing to the surface. The unprocessed grief, the fear, the hypervigilance from my childhood, collided with the intensity of new motherhood, right? I spiraled into what I now recognize as a nervous system breakdown that led to the hospitalization, the psych hospital. And it was a complete collapse of everything that I thought I was holding together. When I came home from the hospital, that was my dark night of the soul. Right? It was the time, after the hospital when I was forced to face everything I had been avoiding, right? The shame, the unworthiness, the self-judgment, the fear of being a bad mother, of the exhaustion of living in survival mode. During this period, the DCFS, the Department of Children and Family Services, became involved to ensure my daughter's safety, which was heartbreaking, but also sacred, right? It was the first of 3 separate times the DCFS would be called over the years, each one revealing a deeper layer of healing. So this is like my parenting trauma, right? The gems of this trauma, which I'm sharing really for the first time ever here, was humility and trust. Really humility, right? Because it was a very humbling experience to go to the psych hospital and then the DCFS being called to make sure that my daughter was safe with me when I came home from the hospital and all of that. And, the kind of trust that comes from surrendering control, from realizing that my worth as a mother and as a soul was never defined by perfection, but by presence. This is something I always say, right? It's not about perfection. The angels always say it's not about perfection, it's about presence. So the angels helped me see that my breakdown was not a failure, Although in the beginning, I felt like it was a portal, right? It cracked me open so that the light could finally reach those places that I kept sealed inside. Let me know if that resonates, right? The third trauma cycle was familial trauma loss, um, that I've been talking, more about in the past couple of years. Ooh, I am tearful with all of this, which is a good sign. So, walking through, walking with my mom through her year-long cancer journey and then death, helping my brother Dylan recover from his car accident, and of course the subsequent PTSD that all of us really had. And then losing him in a tragic highway crash in 2023, all brought me face to face with the fragility of life. Each of these losses broke me open in new ways, inviting me to feel more deeply, pray more sincerely, and live more intentionally. I learned a lot. I mean, obviously, some of these things are fresh, so I'm still learning, right? If you're still cringing, you're still integrating. Are there times like when I look back at Dylan's traumatic car accident and I cringe? Yeah. So I'm still integrating, right? It's like, oh, there's still a gem there, right? And think about the cringe. Think about how a diamond is forged with all the pressure, right? And the pressure and I think there's heat connected with that too, right? And it's like, okay, there's still some cringing before the diamond is formed. So I learned the power of prayer. That was one of the things I learned from all of these experiences I talked about, especially Dylan's accident, right? Not as a plea for rescue, but as a daily practice of surrender and connection. I learned that I had to prioritize my own self-care, decompression, the relax, release, receive process before I could truly, serve or support anyone else. Because if I didn't, I'd probably be dead too. Like I had to commit to that. And that's why I think those earth angels and cycle breakers who are drawn to my work can feel my devotion and my commitment to the practices, right? To the medicine of my book, to the daily angel practice that I never not do, like, because that's what I had to learn. I had to learn it was self first. And we make that analogy that we've heard many, many times when you're on an airplane and the oxygen mask comes down, put it on yourself first before you help anybody else. It's the same thing. It's an overused analogy, but it's like the best way to describe it. Like I learned how to take care of myself. And I learned that surrender, right? Surrendering the pain, the trauma, the fear, the wound, isn't giving up, right? It's giving over. It's handing it over. What's too heavy for our human self to the angels, right? So I really learned about that releasing process and the spiritual relaxation and the surrender so that grace, right? Divine grace can do what I could not. And I shared so many miracles that happened in Dylan's recovery. So the gem of the family trauma, which I'm still integrating, is surrender and devotion, living from trust, allowing grief to be a sacred teacher, and remembering that even in loss, love is eternal. So through each of these trauma cycles, the angels showed me that healing doesn't have to be forceful. It can be gentle, it can be grounded, it can be graceful. And it's not about reliving the trauma to heal it. Um, you only have to feel what's ready to be freed. I love that. Should have brought more tissues. I'm glad at least I brought one though. So the relax, release, receive process that I'm always talking about gives us the structure and the safety to do that, right? To feel what's ready to be freed. Relaxing the body and the nervous system so the angels can reach you, teach you, help you, all the things, right? Releasing the pain, the shame, the fear, the heaviness, the trauma that's been stored in your field, that's been stored in your body, in your field. And then receiving the love, the wisdom, the healing that will turn that wound into wisdom. So when you relax, release, receive, you create a bridge between the human and the divine. And it was interesting because when I was clicking on here, I saw something from a video I had done before in the past that said angels are bridges of light, right? They're bridging our humanity and our divinity. They're also helping us remember that we're actually a soul having a human experience. And for me, that's been one of the most balms on the wound when I think of all the hard stuff that I've been through. That I'm actually a soul having a human experience, that I chose these challenges so I could learn and I could teach and heal. And that gives me heart, courage. The angels meet you exactly where you are, and help you rise into your highest timeline. So that's when the gem appears, right? The gift inside the grief, the wisdom within the wound, the peace in your pain. So I hope that resonates. Before we move into the inner journey, I want to invite you to the angelic pain relief consult. So here's what I'm confident about. I'm confident that your angels know how to heal your pain. The other thing I'm confident about is that I have the tools, the messages, the medicine, and the modalities to help you to access that answer. And it's my joy to do it. So during this 1-hour consult that's over Zoom, you enter into a heartfelt, compassionate space where I'm listening to you and your angels. Together, we uncover, right, what your pain is really about. We think it's this, but it's really this. I'm going to share what your angels are saying about your pain, the angelic perspective of your pain, which automatically creates relief. And then in that consult, one of the gifts of the consult is for you to get clear on the fuel, right? The energy, the intention that's going to heal that pain, right? That's what you need to stay devoted to when the shadow arises. That's why we need a coach, right? We need someone to walk by our side when the shadow arises, right? When we sink back down into that trauma pattern, that pain pattern, that whatever that cycle is you're trying to break, right? To have someone, a holy witness, a divine support. I'm also going to pull an archangel for you in that consult that helps you. Hi, Kate. Namaste. That's going to be walking by your side on your healing path, on your healing journey. And if we're a good fit, I'm going to share the details of my coaching programs with you. Right now, I have a 3-month coaching program and a 6-month coaching program. I do also have angel healing packages for those of you who want to dip your toe in and just start to receive, right? Relax, release, receive. So there's lots of ways to access my energy and my medicine. Of course, this free podcast. If this resonates with you, share it with someone that you love. I'd appreciate that. So let's do a little inner journey and then I'll pull a card. Let me see if I'm pulling a card first. Yeah, I'm going to pull a card first. The angels are saying. I'm going to put the inner child healing. So how is it that you are breaking the trauma cycle once and for all? What are your guardian angels saying today? I love it. No. I got to tell you, one of my other cards today was no. I got no, it's not time. So, what does no mean in this, right? It's time to say no. No to pain. No to that boundary you've been trying to set, right? No to the fear that's stopping you from breaking that trauma, right? And no to the ruminating, no to the cringing, no to the anxiety, right? No more anxiety, no more pain, no more trauma. That's what I hear when I see this no card. The other part about no is also about patience, because look at the resonance here. I mean, like, can you make this like so awesome? No, it's not yet time. This is not the divine right time to take action. Please be patient. The opportune moment is, right? Moment is approaching. So this is about patience. This is about presence. This is about staying calm. So no doesn't mean no, you're wrong. No, you're going to be traumatized forever. It means no more trauma. Like, you can say no more trauma because I'm going to get all of my power back. No more pain because I'm going to get all of my peace back. What do the angels say in my book? The depth of your pain, right? The depth of your pain is equal to the depth of the peace that you can feel. That to me made me like, oh my gosh, that angelic download when I was writing it in the Release and Lead with Your Heart practice was like, oh, there's nothing to be afraid of, right? No more fear. That's what I see when I hear this card. It's like, we don't have to be afraid of our shadow. We don't have to be afraid of the worst trauma that ever happened to us. And I just named like 20 of them that happened to me right now. And look at me here, sharing and shining, right? And you can too with the relax, release, receive process. So let's drop down and in. And we welcome the angels of healthy boundaries, the angels of the sacred no. That when we say no, that we're opening up to our sacred yes, to more compassion, more love, more healing. So just placing one hand at your heart and one hand at your belly, taking some cleansing breaths to drop down and into your heart. Drop down and in to your belly, into the roots, and deep, deep, deep into the earth. Thank you, angels, for drawing near at this time and revealing to each of us what we most need to know. So feeling your guardian angels here with their pearlescent white light. So it's a white light, but it's like shimmery and sparkly with rainbowy colors, very light. And it's surrounding your aura, and then they're pouring that pearlescent white light from the crown of the head, through the brain, through the nervous system, through the chakras, all the way down to the energetic roots. Feeling so loved, so held. And then they're saying that they're sending love and light back to that trauma, to that point of trauma, whether it's your inner child or a past life or anything current. Just let that pearlescent white, oh, perfect. Pearlescent white light flow in. Let your body relax, your mind and heart relax. You're safe. And we ask, beloved angels, what trauma cycle are you inviting me to release right now? What trauma cycle are you inviting me to release? Beautiful. Trust and listen. Listen to your body, your heart, your intuition, your clairsentience, right? The gut feeling, the angel bumps, all of that. And then we ask, what lesson, what gem am I learning from that trauma? I'm willing to learn the deepest, I'm willing to learn the deeper meaning, the higher purpose of that trauma. and receive the gems from the journey gently, gracefully, lovingly. And I'm just going to send some angel Reiki into your heart and third eye. So let that angel Reiki flow for you to receive the answers, not maybe in words, but in sensations and feelings and inner knowing. All of your clairs open safely, lovingly, gently. Let the answer come in gently without any force, without any effort. There you go. Just trusting that your angels are here and they have your back. As soon as I said that, your guardian angels just putting their hands on your shoulders, reminding you of your wings and your energetic potential, your sacred no, right? With the arms going down like that. Actually feel like that's like, right? Crossing the arms over the body and then letting the energy just pour out and down. Good. Just let it all go. It's safe to say no more trauma, no more pain, no more fear. Cleansing breath in and out, dedicating the healing that you received today to all our relations in all directions of time. Feeling your angels here, bowing to you with love and devotion as we seal the inner journey with a namaste. Namaste, everyone. Okay, what came to me, I'd love to hear from you, was the grief. Like there's another layer of grief because I could tell, as I'm sharing all this, right? Tears were coming up. So there's some more grief. So if this episode resonated with you and you're ready to go deeper, I'd love to connect. And I'd love to invite you to the Angelic Cycle Breakers series. This is going to be a 7-week group coaching container where we're going to journey through all the practices in my book. We're going to journey through, it's 7 weeks with 6 live sessions because there's a bye week where we take a break and maybe catch up on reading or go deeper, whatever you need. And we're co-creating this space together. So your voice, your medicine, your engagement really matters. So I'm looking for those earth angels who are ready to show up and break that cycle. So I'm offering right now a free chat to anyone who's interested so we can help you get clear on what cycle you're breaking. See if this container is a good fit. Of course, I'd love for you and your angels to join us. Is there anything else? So in that 2-hour, it starts on October 29th. It's 7 weeks from there to December 10th. And why the angels had me up-level this offering and call it Angelic Cycle Breakers and all of that is, and we're in a universal year 9, which is about endings, completion, mastery, transformation. And the angels are saying, what cycle are you ready to end once and for all, that you are not going to carry with you into the new epicycle, into 2026, into the universal one? And if you're ready for the support, the accountability, the alchemy, and the alignment to do that, then the Angelic Cycle Breakers is the offering for you. We're almost half full with that offering. And again, if you want a free chat, just DM me or message me. You can even put it in the comments on the YouTube, and I'll remember to put the links here and everything. So I love you all. Thank you so much for your love, light, support, medicine. I can't wait to keep talking about this and sharing with you. Marketing, all how I'm marketing it is my marketing is medicine, and I'm adding value to your lives. And that's my goal and intention. So let me know if thank you, Lauren, for opening up. Thank you all for being here. Benicia, Kate, everyone else who watches the replay. I love you all. And I'm going to see you soon. So I'll be back next week talking about the lac cycle. And I actually got so many downloads for that offering. I'm really excited about busting that bubble and clearing that out of our system. All right. Love you all. Have an awesome rest of your day and week. And I'll see you soon. Bye.